All right, let's go ahead and get right into the mailbag.
Mailbag.
Whew, I got a question.
Yeah. I like it.
With the news that Pierre Thomas was waived. No, this is a legitimate question.
Shane Draughn?
Yeah.
Shaun Draughn.
Shaun Draughn.
Man, that name is
We
not
need
easy.
We need a confirmation on that guy's name.
Shaun
It is.
Draughn.
Drone.
Shaun Draughn.
Drone?
I
I
believe
believe
it's
it's
Drone.
Shaun Draughn.
Shaun Draughn.
Shaun Draughn.
It should be Shaun Draughn, though. And I think their parents need to... he's a grown-up now, so he should be able to...
but anyways-
Send in the drone.
Oh, no. No.
Yes.
We are not associated with
drones.
With drones.
Right. Those are so dangerous.
Do we pick him up? It seems like he would be locked and loaded as the running back with Karlos Hyde out.
Yeah, he should have been on our waiver show.
Because Pierre Thomas, when we had done the show, Thomas had not been waived yet.
Yeah, but Draughn still had a good week.
Right.
And so that was just stupid. Really.
Yeah,
I mean, because I guess the expectation is Hyde will be back. There's a mishmash in the backfield, and the offense isn't very good. But, I mean, he's in consideration.
Okay. That's all I wanted
And Pierre
to check.
Thomas came in, and he was basically the spell Shaun Draughn.
Would you rather have Shaun Draughn or like a Chris Thompson, Alfred Morris? I
It
feel
depends
like
on your team and what you need.
Yeah, and maybe the matchup. But Drone is in that category of that guy that you can pick up and start if you need to start him for a week and you don't have good options.
So are you guys telling me that I should sign Shaun Draughn?
Yes.
Because I have Deion Lewis?
Yes, immediately.
Do you think I can start Deion Lewis still? If I wanted to?
Yes.
You can start him.
I'm going to put him and Arian in.
Yes.
And
I like
then I'm
it.
going to beat you.
It's like,
Anyways. And it's going to be the greatest moment of my life.
it's like pouring one out for your homies.
Yeah.
One more start.
Ugh.
One
Man.
more start for you.
All right. Let's hit the mailbag. Michael in Neptune, New Jersey.
Sounds far away.
Very far away. Who's the better start this week? Jameis Winston or Ryan Fitzpatrick?
I'm going to go with your start of the week here, Andy.
Hey,
and
hold
go
on. My stream of the week.
Oh, I apologize. You're
Thank you.
streaming.
Get your verbiage
candidate.
right.
Your streaming guy, I would go with Ryan Fitzpatrick. I believe he's got the better matchup. It's a Thursday night game, which I don't love, but the Bills are, even though they're known for being this great defensive Rex Ryan team, they're actually not. So I would go with him.
I'd stay with the Magic.
All right.
The
Yeah,
Fitzmagic.
I'm obviously going to go with Fitzpatrick on that one. For Michael. So Jordan in New York City.
New York City.
Who do I start in my flex spot for week number 10? Help him out. Legarrette Blount, Michael Crabtree, or Devontae Adams.
So
And if you need those matchups, Blount is facing off against the Giants.
And Crabtree has the Vikings.
And the Packers are going up against the Lions, which is why I'm going to actually take Devontae Adams.
Really?
Yeah, I am. I don't like the matchup for Crabtree, even though I like Crabtree better than Adams. Maybe you'll go Blunt, but I just think the Lions secondary is terrible, and I would love to have Aaron Rodgers throwing. I mean, he caught, 7 catches last game? Devontae Adams?
I'm going to go with Blunt.
I'm going to go with Blunt, too.
All right.
Or as he says, hashtag Blunt Force Trauma. I saw that on his Twitter.
How could he fit anything else if his hashtag is so long?
That was for game day, and I don't think it really worked well for Deion Lewis.
What was Lewis's hashtag?
No, I just mean like trauma. Blunt Force Trauma.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I see where
I
you're
think
going.
you jinxed him. Yeah. All right, Alex
Or
Sarkis.
did he? Legarrette Blount
Yeah, I know.
did what he needs to do.
Alex Sarkis in Massachusetts. Hey, guys, who would you rather have rest of season? Stefon Diggs, Sammy Watkins, or Allen Hurns?
Oh, man, those are 3 great guys to have rest of season. I'm going to
I have them in that order.
Really?
Yes. Diggs, Watkins, Hurns. With the caveat that obviously if Watkins is injured, I won't select him.
Yeah, that's the problem with Watkins is the injury concerns.
You saw the talent last week.
Yeah.
It's nice to roll a guy out that can put up a monster game.
And then the Monday report was, and Sammy Watkins is walking with a noticeable limp.
You see,
that's what he
yeah,
does.
I know. And let me just for a minute, you guys think about it. I admitted this to you guys in the studio yesterday. I have a bit of a problem trusting wide receiver 2s. And I say that would be Michael Crabtree, okay, where Cooper's the 1. That would be Allen Hurns, where Allen Robinson's the 1. That would be Eric Decker, where Brandon Marshall's the 1. But I don't think that's the right way to go about it. It's just mentally in fantasy football, I'm trying to outfit my team with highest potential, and I'm not trusting sometimes the Ryan Matthews of the world.
Yeah, and to clarify for the listeners, what you're saying here is not that you have a problem with that on purpose, but that you actually
that's a weakness for me.
Yeah, it's a weakness. You need to put a little bit more trust in the fact that wide receiver 2s are viable fantasy options.
I feel like for every Allen Hurns success story, there is a Reuben Randall. Okay, there is a situation where a guy is supposed to be that, and then poof, he's gone. I mean, even Marvin Jones has been good, but he alternates weeks. And so for me, I just feel like the 2 has the highest odds of being, pooping their pants. And there are guys this year that have not done that. Crabtree's done it every week. Hurns has done it every week. It's a challenge for me to trust those guys in my lineup.
Because the opposite thinking to that is the 1 always gets the best defender.
Absolutely.
So that it leaves the 2 open, and there's certain teams that are more susceptible to this, as we've seen. Looking at some schedule stuff here, Diggs, remainder schedule still has to play Green Bay, Seattle, and Arizona. And I know that Hurns has a
really
very
nice,
majestic closing. There's not a single matchup on Hurns' schedule left that I think is tough. San Diego, maybe, if they can get everybody healthy, but this season that's been just impossible for San Diego to do. But I'm going to go with it's tough to go with to pass on Watkins, but because of health, I would go with Hurns.
Yeah, I believe a couple days ago I had said Sammy Watkins I see as a wide receiver 1. Since I said that, I've been thinking, man, he's just not healthy enough to actually be. I think if he's healthy and on the field,
he's Jordan Reed,
a weekly 1, but he's just not healthy on the field, and so I'm going to pass on Watkins as well and take, as crazy as it is, just based on schedule. I think I do have to go Hurns. His schedule is unfathomably good.
Let me ask you this, because it walks us into this question to me. And you guys both said Hurns, I said Diggs. The Vikings are a winning team. They are 6-2. The Jacksonville Jaguars are very unlikely to be in the playoff mix. How does that affect these players towards the end of season? Because if you're tooth and nailing it, yes, they have some matchups that appear hard. But if they're hard matchups, that team is ambitious towards the playoffs. The other teams maybe are out of the playoff mix. We know very quickly that defenses can change, right? Where you have a week where 2 or 3 weeks goes by and all of a sudden, the Chargers' pasty doesn't look very good. So does that change your opinion on any guys' ends of season? Because I like guys on winning teams, and that's part of the motivation for Diggs.
And that's fair, but Minnesota is a running team, and Jacksonville is a throwing team. The Yeldon he's been okay. He's been pretty much solid the entire year, but that team will win because of Blake Bortles in the passing game, where Minnesota, the weather is just, I don't want to be the full weather guy, but it's going to get colder, and Adrian Peterson is the man who will take the Vikings to the playoffs if anybody's going to do it. So that steers me away from Diggs. I still like Diggs. So the funny thing about this conversation is all these are great options.
Yeah,
we're not saying any of these
them
are bad. It's just you have to get into the ticky-tack stuff of who do you prefer, and it's Hurns for me.
Yeah. Pat in Indiana wants to know, this is a must-win week.
Oh.
Half-point PPR.
Oh.
So must-win. Do you start Chris Ivory on Thursday night against Buffalo at home, or do you start Jonathan Stewart, who has been playing very well, and going up against the Titans? I know my answer to this.
Jonathan Stewart.
Because I have them both. Those are my 2 starters, by the way, in our league of record.
So you're playing them both, but I'm going to go with Jay Stu. The volume of the carries is going up. He's getting about 20 a game right now.
You know what's disappointing about Jonathan Stewart? And I'm going to actually lean Stewart this week as well. Jason, who do you lean?
Yeah, I do lean Stewart because of the short week for Chris Ivory and really for Nick Mangold, whether or not he can get out by Thursday. And the Bills, while they are not the best defense, they are pretty decent against the run. So bad matchup, short week, injury risks. I think you could have a very lousy game from Chris Ivory. And if this is a must-win week, you've got to get points out of that position.
Let me tell you what I'm disappointed about for Jonathan Stewart. You want to hear it? The number 4. Do you want to know what that number is?
I'm
What's
intrigued.
the number 4? The number 4 is the amount of receptions he's had since week 2.
Yes.
4. Let me tell you this number. 47.
That's the amount of receptions he
That's
had.
that's his career high receptions.
Yeah.
It's 47. He's been somebody who can handle the ball in the receiving game back when it was the D-Well days, but they do not involve him in that game at all. And so if he doesn't score, which is very often, he needs quantity. He is a Cedric Benson-esque type of runner where he needs quantity, and that's the only thing that's frustrating with him where, you could definitely say Ivory because Ivory could stink and get 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So it's pretty close there. I lean Stewart because of the matchup. Ken in blank. So Ken is from somewhere. We just don't know where.
Or is he from anywhere?
Or everywhere.
Oh.
Get out of my head, Ken. Fun question. He wants to hear debated. Who'd you start this week, Jeremy Hill or Karlos Williams?
That's
a fun question.
Yeah.
That is an interesting question because with LaShawn McCoy and his shoulder injury, as of the taping of this, we have not gotten an update. But either way, let's say Shady McCoy plays. Karlos Williams will still be involved. Maybe he gets even more involved. Maybe he gets a couple more touches to rest McCoy's shoulder. And Jeremy Hill is a wild card, man. You have no idea. He's getting the 15 carries a week, but if he doesn't get in the end zone, you're probably going to be disappointed with his numbers. And the same could be said for Karlos Williams. So this is a game of touchdown chicken.
I agree, and I go Jeremy Hill.
Yeah, if it's a game of touchdown
Because
chicken.
Carlos Williams is playing the Jets in New York.
So I was going to say, it's a matchup. And Houston on Monday night I think, has more touchdowns being scored on them than the Jets do. So,
yeah, well, I believe the Jets have given them 2 rushing touchdowns all year. So,
okay.
So Jeremy Hill would be
now,
my answer.
Just to ruin the whole thing, if LaShawn McCoy is out, do you go Karlos Williams
Then you
against
go
the Jets D?
Yeah, I still go Karlos Williams.
No, I wouldn't.
I do.
I mean, I was presuming on that question to make it a fair, intriguing question. I was presuming that LaShawn McCoy would be out, and I still think 2 touchdowns on the entire year. If you're playing touchdown chicken, I'm taking the matchup.
Now, the interesting thing is when Karlos Williams has played football,
He's been
the entire year, he's been double digits.
He has scored every time.
Every game?
You
You are correct.
every time.
Every game. He had 3 rushing touchdowns first 3 games, then a passing touchdown, and then 2 touchdowns last week.
Yep.
But, man, that's a scary guy to play somehow because of the quantity of work. All right, Isaiah in Phoenix wants to know, Jason, do I start Kamar Aiken or
Wait, what? Oh, I thought Isaiah actually only asked Jason. I was going to be very offended. Continue.
Isaiah wants to know from Jason only, do I start Kamar Aiken or Travis Benjamin in my flex?
You start Kamar Aiken in your flex. There's question marks on the quarterback for Cleveland. It's going to be Josh McCown if he's healthy. He's not healthy. Is he practicing? Who knows? But what we do know is that Kamar Aiken is going to be the number 1 target for Joe Flacco. They've got a great matchup coming up. Why take the question marks? Go with the guy that you know is going to have the targets. I would definitely start Kamar Aiken.
I looked at this morning. Baltimore, for all their struggles, they really aren't the best team to start defenses against. It's not like defenses have scored a lot of points off of them. Because Flacco, while their offense has been meh, he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. And it was kind of interesting. They're just kind of –
They've been in every game. I mean, they're not if you look at the point spreads, the point differentials of – they're not as bad as their record says, which is what you want in a fantasy matchup. You want a team that is not just, okay, they've been bad on defense, you can throw it, you can score on them, but then they come back and score, and they stay in the game, and the points just flow.
What do?
They flow. They flow out of the football.
You sounded like a that was like a Frankenstein.
Yeah. A little
Like
Halloween throwback.
Vintage.
Yes, master. Petter in Norway.
Petter. Oh, bonjour.
Harry Petter. Do I play Antonio Andrews over Charkandrick West based on matchups?
Ooh, let's take a look at the matchups. Who do the Chiefs got? They got the Broncos. Ooh, that's gross. And the Titans have the Panthers. Ooh,
That's gross.
That's nasty. You got to go with. I'm going to go with Charkandrick.
Yeah, both matchups are bad. You go with the Charizard.
Yeah, volume is great.
I'm
for
having
him.
a super hard time deciding between them because I think the volume is actually about the same now with those guys.
Not pass catching.
And Tony Andrews has caught a few.
A few, but Charkandrick he's the man. I love him.
Oh man, how bold am I? I'm gonna go Char West.
Charizard, I
Yeah.
choose you.
I thought you were about to make a water bet.
I
on
was-
this, and then you went.
I
and then
was
you went
pondering the
fully-
water bet, but it would have been with odds because
Look.
you guys both. I mean,
When I play fantasy, I want to be the very best, like no one ever was.
yeah, I got you. Barely, I got you. Nick in Brooklyn, New York. Who would you rather keep for the rest of the season? Jeremy Maclin or Allen Hurns?
Ooh,
Full point PPR. Give me Maclin.
Full point PPR. I would agree. I would go Maclin. He's got a higher floor baseline. You've seen plenty of games with Allen Hurns where he's got 2 or 3 balls and a touchdown, and his value comes from that. But with Maclin in a full point PPR, he's going to have more receptions on the year, higher, and his ceiling is still, he can put up a big game.
In the last 2 games that Jeremy Maclin has played, he has how many catches?
In the last how many games?
2.
It's not high.
6.
Yeah.
In 2 games.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
Well, he was concussed in one of them.
No,
And
that's the 0. Well, when was he concussed?
he was
So that's
concussed
fair.
during that game, and then the next game he came out, they struggled a lot.
Yeah.
And they didn't need it. It was Detroit, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and that game they had put away early. So
Yeah, before those,
it's still,
it was
I mean, it's fair
8
point.
receptions, 11 receptions, 8 receptions.
I would-
So-
I would go with
Anybody
Maclin.
want a rest of season bet?
No.
Okay.
I'm still going to go Maclin. I'm just pointing out that this is not a
That's not as cut and dry.
Yes.